This chapter takes the series into the high-tension legal thriller genre. Here, Eleanor confronts the most powerful force of all, the state machine. This is the moment when corporate noir becomes truly dark. 5 a.m. Pre-dawn blue light. Eleanor, in a silk robe, sips coffee, looking out over the city. A sudden, sharp knock. A group of FBI agents at the door.
In this country, you don't go to jail for stealing. You go to jail for being too visible. The state's attorney decided that putting my head on a platter was a great way to win the next election. They call it securities fraud. I call it creative capitalism. In this country, you don't get jailed for stealing. In America, stealing is the national sport. You get jailed for being too visible, for violating the aesthetics, for being louder than those holding the leash. The state's attorney decided that my head on a platter was the perfect billboard for his re-election campaign. He calls it securities fraud. I call it creative capitalism. I'm just painting on a more expensive canvas than he can afford.
Eleanor opens the door. Agents in body armor stand at the threshold. She extends her hands for handcuffs with such grace, as if trying on bracelets. She is led through the hall. Paparazzi flashes. She looks directly into the camera, a slight half smile.
If you get arrested, do it in such a way that your competitors' stock prices plummet with just one look from you. Publicity is also an asset. If they want a show, I'll give them a finale they won't forget.
Prosecutor, we have it all. Shell companies, double-entry bookkeeping, a signature on a non-repayable loan for $50 million. You're done, Eleanor.
Jimmy, can I call you Jimmy? Your evidence is just a bunch of numbers. You see crime, I see optimization. You see debt, I see leverage. Your problem is that you read the law like a microwave manual. I read it like sheet music for a symphony.
Eleanor's lawyer enters the room and puts his hand on her shoulder. The prosecutor's expression changes. He's received a message on his phone.
While they were searching my house, my people were searching their past. Justice in this country is an auction. And I always bid the highest. Remember, if the system tries to swallow you, become a thorn in its side. Don't defend yourself. Attack the very legitimacy of those judging you. The tax office, the prosecutor's office, the banks, they're all cut from the same cloth as me. I just have the courage to admit it. Creative capitalism demands sacrifice. But today, it won't be my head. When they try to put you in jail, your friends are the first to disappear. The only people left are the ones you pay. My lawyer costs $3,000 an hour, and he's worth every cent because he knows the law isn't about justice. It's about who can tell the best story.
After some time, Eleanor appears in court. Prosecutor, we have records, Eleanor. Your signatures on offshore accounts. You're going to prison for 25 years.
Darling, my signature is on half the buildings in this city. If I fall, the lights will go out in this city. Are you really ready for the darkness? Handcuffs are just an accessory if you have enough self-control. They want to see fear. Don't give them that satisfaction.
Eleanor leaves the courthouse 2 hours later on bail. She gets into her car, takes out a mirror, and touches up her lipstick.
When the US government says they've frozen your accounts, they're only talking about the accounts you were foolish enough to leave in plain sight. To the FBI, my money is a target. But how can you hit a target that exists in 4 dimensions at once?
Eleanor explains the concept of irrevocable trusts.
Legally, I don't own a cent. My car is in a trust. My house is in a corporation in Wyoming. My diamonds are in a foundation in Liechtenstein. I'm officially a pauper, living like a queen. You can't take what's not mine. They froze my digital dollars. Nice. But they can't freeze my connections. When your bank account is taken away, your currency becomes favor capital. I spent years funding senators' campaigns, paying for judges' children's educations, and paying off the debts of important people. One call from me, and a private jet is full. Another call, and I have a suite at a hotel that's not officially mine. Connections are the only asset that's immune to sanctions and warrants. If you're waiting for a knock on your door to start hiding your money, you're already in jail. Asset protection is built on sunny days, not during storms. Remember, in this world, it's not how much money you have that matters, but how much money you have unfettered access to, while everyone else thinks you're broke. Offshore layering, the shell game, an infographic on glass, a complex web of companies. My liquidity flows through a system of layering. The Nevis Trust. The island of Nevis is a place where US forfeiture laws turn to dust. To sue me there, the prosecutor requires a $100,000 cash bond just to start the process. The Swiss vault. Good old gold in private vaults, not in banks, but in private safe deposit companies. They don't have SWIFT codes. They don't have names in their database, just keys and physical metal.
Black hole isn't just a metaphor. For American justice, the Nevis Trust is a legal event horizon. Information and money flow in, but no U.S. court decision can ever get out. That's why prosecutors are furious when they hear the name, while Eleanor Vance feels completely safe.
1. Total disregard for foreign courts. In the US, if a judge signs an asset freeze order, banks are obligated to comply. But the Nevis International Exempt Trust Ordinance, Nevis Law, explicitly states that foreign court decisions have no effect on the island. Reality. A prosecutor can wave a New York court order around as much as they want. To the registrar in Nevis, it's just a piece of paper. To get their hands on the money, an adversary would have to hire local lawyers and start the process from scratch in a Nevis court. 2. Fee-based admission. $100,000 bail. Nevis is the only jurisdiction that requires a plaintiff to post a cash bond before they can even file a lawsuit against a trust. The price at issue, typically around $100,000. This money is not refunded if the plaintiff loses, and they almost always do. This instantly eliminates 99% of bounty hunters and petty blackmailers. 3. Superhuman standard of proof. In American civil law, it is sufficient to prove guilt by a preponderance of the evidence, 51% probability. In Nevis, the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt. The gist: this is a criminal standard. The creditor must prove that you created the trust solely to defraud them. Proving this is virtually impossible if Eleanor claims she created the trust to protect her grandchildren's inheritance. 4. Time is on Eleanor's side. Statute of limitations. Nevis has an extremely short statute of limitations for fraudulent transfer. Window of opportunity, typically 1. 2 years from the date the assets were transferred to the trust. If the prosecutor is even a day late, the door is closed forever. An important difference. In the US, the transfer can be frozen until the creditor learns of it. In Nevis, time passes inexorably from the date of the transaction, whether anyone knew about it or not. 5. Stealth-level secrecy. There is no public registry of trust beneficiaries on the island. Confidentiality. Disclosing information about trust affairs is a criminal offence on Nevis. If a local registrar or lawyer tells the FBI, they will go to prison. Why Nevis? Because American justice ends where their territorial waters begin. When a prosecutor freezes my Chase account, he sees the numbers. But when he tries to find my assets in Nevis, he sees a wall of centuries-old laws, $100,000 liens, and lawyers who don't understand the word solidarity. My money isn't in a bank, it's in another reality.